Remember when we were kids and you wanted another shot at something? We called it a do-over. It was a chance to wipe the slate clean, try again, an adolescent mulligan, if you will. I'm asking you today for a do-over. You see, though Betham's Shomrei Adama, our green team, led a recent program in honor of Earth Day, I didn't even mention Earth Day from the Bima. My only excuse is that these days there seems to be so much to talk about. You see, the week of Earth Day, which was 2 weeks ago, I was trying to decide whether to mention the 21st anniversary of the Columbine shootings, my birthday, Laney's birthday, Hitler's birthday, all of which, by the way, are the same day, April 20th. I know, my German Jewish relatives were thrilled. But also, that week was Rosh Chodesh Iyar, which meant the coming week contained both Yom HaZikaron and Yom HaAtzmaut. And of course, every week is COVID-19 week. And then there was Earth Day. Not just Earth Day, but the 50th anniversary of Earth Day, no less. So I made the choice to talk about Freddie Gray, and I stand by the choice. But I hope now I get a do-over. I come by my interest honestly, you see. Did you know that I was the president of the ecology club in high school? I was. So here's a poem by Rabbi Harold Kushner. It's called A Prayer for the World. Let the rain come and wash away the ancient grudges, the bitter hatreds held and nurtured over generations. Let the rain wash away the memory of the hurt, the neglected. Then let the sun come out and fill the sky with rainbows. Let the warmth of the sun heal us wherever we are broken. Let it burn away the fog so that we can see each other clearly, so that we can see beyond labels, beyond accents, gender, or skin color. Let the warmth and brightness of the sun melt our selfishness so that we can share the joys and feel the sorrows of our neighbors. And let the light of the sun be so strong that we will see all people as our neighbors. Let the earth nourished by rain bring forth flowers to surround us with beauty, and let the mountains teach our hearts to reach upward to heaven. Amen. Love for the world is bound up in our tradition with love for humanity. Love for humanity never exclusive of our love for the world, but more than that, they counterbalance each other. When we are suffering, as we are during this pandemic, in addition to Western medicine, what better balm for what ails us than the natural world? It's been said that there is nothing good about pain and suffering, but that good can be a byproduct of those things. And we know this. All kinds of good come out of difficult moments, individual loss, communal trauma. Look around at the countless acts of kindness that have emerged in this global moment. Care for the elderly, emerging forms of art, the celebration of the medical and scientific communities for their gift of their wisdom, resourcing of at-risk people, like Miriam's pulse oximeter campaign. This caremongering, as it's been called, is the natural result of good people bumping up against bad times. And Jewish tradition says that we are not alone in this endeavor. We're part of a team that includes humanity. But the world headquarters of the Silver Lining Manufacturing Corporation, that's in heaven. And guess who the CEO is? The man responsible for teaching so many about this sentiment is none other than Rabbi Harold Kushner. Kushner, of course, is most famous not for his poetry, but for writing when bad things happen to good people, which argues that God is not present in disaster, doesn't cause suffering, but God is present in the response to grief, heartache, and calamity. Unfortunately, loss is real, and it's permanent. We don't get a do-over when tragedy strikes. But when tragedy does strike, we get to reassess our lives, our choices, our personal choices, and our collective societal choices. I've been struck by some of the data that's been revealed by NASA and climate scientists in the midst of COVID-19. Have you seen those images of air pollution before and then during coronavirus? When countless factories are shuttered, fewer automobiles driven, despite the circumstances, there are positive outcomes too. Marshall Burg, an environmental economist at Stanford, says the reduction in pollution in China alone may have saved up to 50,000 lives. How does he know? Well, he doesn't know. It's a prediction. They'll need to look at the mortality data in the aftermath of coronavirus. But this has happened before. Before the Beijing Olympics, China also took substantial measures to reduce air pollution. The effect was a significant reduction in old age mortality and infant mortality. And we've known for a long time that neonatal exposure to certain particulates, like here in Baltimore, leads to higher incidence of asthma, later life reduction in earnings, and overall poor health. The book of Genesis reminds us human beings were created la'ovda u'l'shomra, to work and to guard the earth. Our very name, B'nai Adam, derives from Adama, Adam, Adama. We are not simply masters of the soil, but products of it. In our Parsha, we have a detailed description of the three pilgrimage festivals, Pesach, Shavuot, and Sukkot. Each of these is not simply about worship of God, not only about important historical moments for our people, but about the harvest, the bounty of our planet. We express gratitude. We offer tithes to acknowledge that we are guests in this world and at best stewards of the land. Only a crazy person would advocate global illness as a prescription for a healthier planet. The point here isn't to celebrate the pandemic, chas v'sholom. The point is that there are things we can do to make significant improvements by investing in renewable energies, protecting wildlife, removing poisonous gases from our atmosphere, and supporting bold legislative solutions to climate change. But that is not where the Trump administration has focused its energies, is it? For all the misguided and even devastating policies of this administration, some of the worst have been their systematic dismantling of environmental protections. A New York Times article ran a couple of days ago detailing nearly 100 rollbacks of laws and policies put in place over decades to protect our planet. 64 of these are complete, and 34 are still in progress. These include reversals of basic protections on water pollution, drilling and extraction, toxic materials, and safety. There are loosenings of restrictions over overfishing, reversal of certain protections against endangered species. But the largest number of rollbacks has to do with emissions and air pollution. It's a toxic do-over for the planet. Here in Maryland, Governor Hogan has gained much praise, both for his steady hand in directing our state's COVID guidelines, but also, it appears, for his truly extraordinary and surprising belief in research and basic scientific norms. But meanwhile, his administration has also been chipping away at policies and initiatives that would create more equitable access to resources. One of these is education, with his veto this week of Kirwan funding. But another was essentially his first major act as governor to cancel the Red Line, giving up $900 million in federal funding. We know about the relationship between public transit and employment, access to healthy food, and general mobility for people due to age or economic status with limited or no access to automobiles. But what about the connection between public transit access and mortality? What happens when fewer people drive? The answer is simple: more people live. Some of that is about fewer particulates put into the air. But it's not just that. According to the CDC, 1.35 million people are killed each year on roadways around the world, every day. Every day, almost 3,700 people are killed globally in road traffic. More than half of those killed are pedestrians, motorcyclists, and cyclists. Road traffic injuries are the leading cause of death for children and young people between 5 and 29 years of age. More people now die in road traffic crashes than from HIV/AIDS. Investment in sound public transit solutions and safe bike lanes is a no-brainer. We don't have the hard data that I'm aware of about how many fewer cars there are on the road right now around the world, but it will be interesting to see how the pandemic has affected road fatalities. Chalk one up for the silver lining department. Right now, as so many, too many, struggle to breathe, the world is taking a breath. Our focus ought to be on the trauma of the illness, the dangers of infection, and equitable investment in communities that are most vulnerable. But when this is all over, in this year when we celebrate 50 years of Earth Day, we get to ask ourselves, what can we do for the planet? Perhaps not 2 weeks ago, but this Shabbat is the perfect week to ask that question. Because yesterday was a Jewish holiday. Did you know that? And ironically, it's the ultimate Jewish do-over holiday. Each year, on the 14th day of Adar, exactly 1 month after Passover, we celebrate Pesach Sheni, second Passover. Yes, that is a real thing. And it's even biblical. Vayihi anashim asher hayu tmeim lenefesh adam velo yochlu la'asot haPesach b'yom hahu. But there were some people who were unclean or impure by reason of a corpse and could not offer the Passover sacrifice on that day. Appearing that same day before Moses and Aaron, those men said to them, impure though we are by reasons of a corpse, we must be debarred. Why must we be debarred from presenting the Lord's offering at its set time with the rest of the Israelites? That's right, our tradition makes it possible for anyone, for these reasons or other reasons, who did not have a chance to celebrate Pesach to get a do-over. This year, there was a fair amount of talk about Pesach Sheni because of the coronavirus. Pesach Rishon was a bit of a mess. Some speculated that perhaps this is the year we would actually be celebrating Pesach Sheni. Alas, it was not to be, though some people ate matzah, and that's lovely. But I would like to use this opportunity to consider the ways this global moment offers us a silver lining, a global do-over. Let's think about that a little bit. Let the rain come and wash away the ancient grudges, the bitter hatreds, says Rabbi Kushner. Let the earth nourished by rain bring forth flowers to support us with beauty, and let the mountains teach our hearts to reach upward to heaven. On Shabbat, we are students of Torah, students of humanity, but also we change from being stewards of to students of the earth. A lesson is being taught. The circumstances make it difficult to concentrate, but we should. It's a lesson, my friends, worth learning. Shabbat Shalom, and happy belated Earth Day.